Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, man. Comment down below. Let me know where y'all from. Let's get right into it, man. So, Yo Gotti might have to drop Moneybagg Yo because the Bentley came back connected, and he don't want to make it look like CMG bought Moneybagg Yo to Bentley to go, and then that Bentley ends up being the one that's driving in front of the Dolph scene and stuff, right next to the Getaway car. So if you look at it, it's the same thing as when, YSL and Thug and everything had that Nissan they rented, and then it came back into his name and everything, and then that's how they knew it was all connected. And so it's the same exact thing, because when it was originally bought and Moneybagg Yo gave that to Ari, then that's when they knew one of the baby mamas. That's when they knew that that was tied to CMG already. Before that, we already seen that. And then now fast forward to when the whole situation happens and goes off, it's driving by, and then they're like, that's Moneybagg, but that was purchased by CMG. And if it was a gift, they don't know if it was given to him to do this or that. And that's why he's trying to avoid if any kind of RICO happens. So that's why people be saying and hearing that they're thinking about dropping Moneybagg Yo from CMG or splitting that up, because you already know that it's Zebo who owns Bread Gang, BGE, and all that that whole other section of CMG that's tied with Moneybagg Yo and all the people that's like on his side under him, that affiliated through the music and all that. And so, in a way, they already kind of separated, and so they're trying to make it even more, so that way it's not going to come back to RICO to the CMG, because they're already looking. You got to understand that they're already looking into the case and trying to figure out what really happened with Dolph and all of the people that they actually got before this. They all told a whole story, and there's some similarities that they're trying to figure out. They even found out more new info, because Yo Gotti's own brother went in, and he might even take the stand because he already cooperated to go in and do the whole interview. And when they interviewed him, they definitely had to have asked about that Bentley and everybody that's tied in, including Black Youngster, and even what happened with Finesse 2 times, and like that whole short little run where he was technically coming to like link back up with Moneybagg Yo and make amends and make things right. But then stuff went south, and he ended up splitting back up and all that. And so they asked about that and what it was about, because they had a situation with Dolph with Finesse 2 times Moneybagg Yo already. And so that was another part of it, because they're looking at the strings of the beefs from over the years and years, right? And so they're going back and looking at, okay, if Finesse is 2 times got out and he went to go link up with Moneybagg Yo, and you know what? They already had that issue with Dolph where they both dissed him, but Finesse 2 times only dissed him because he was trying to get the deal signed with Moneybagg Yo and CMG. He thought that they were going to be the one putting food on his table, so he just showed loyalty and sided with them, when the whole time he wasn't even supposed to diss Dolph. And then when he had his own issues with Moneybagg Yo about the flow being stolen and all these other things, and that he was going to be going through and somebody even telling, then that's when he was like, you know what? I was cool with Dolph, didn't even have no problems, but they're the ones who basically were telling me to diss him and everything, because he was trying to show that he was on their side, because he was riding through Memphis and North Carolina and the South Carolina and all that. You know how Finesse 2 times is, he's in South Carolina all the time. And so what you got to understand is basically Black Youngster is looking at this situation like he's trying to get as far away. That's why the whole time people said that he might have been in Mexico. And you got to look at it like, yeah, he probably is trying to get as far away as he can, just like how Moneybagg Yo is. We haven't seen Yo Gotti, Black Youngster, Moneybagg Yo all in the same exact place since the last time when they did that one video with the whole camo and everything like that. And that's why you haven't seen them as a group like that. And that was just months after the Dolph thing. Matter of fact, it was almost like a little diss track or a little diss visual to the fact that they were trying to show that they were some type of army or whatever, right? And it was like a war in Memphis and a lot of different things that they're basically pointing at. You could say is connected, you could say it's tied to or whatnot. But when you look at it, you're going to understand how everything is going to come back into a full circle because of the fact that they all known each other for a while, all the little past issues that they had. But really, people wanted them to all get along. People wanted them to all make their money and bread. That way, the youngins coming up in Memphis, all this talent that they got in Memphis could look up to them and be like, dang, okay, if they all got along, then we could get along and get our bread up. They would have probably made even more money because they would have been hip to the things and the ways to do it. Because then they would have learned from the OGs. And if the OGs wasn't beefing like that, then they would have had more time to teach the youth more little tactics and everything like that. And the whole community would have been better. But since people want to have egos and beef and don't want to get along and everything when they all like basically at the same places, going in the same journeys and whatnot, like Dolph and Yo Gotti were both doing the same thing, rappers in the same city, all that. So when these people don't want to get along, then you see how it's going to affect everything down. It's like the keystone. It's like the thing holding up the rest of the community. So these are called role models and everything like that. And so people got to realize is that, all this greed and jealousy and envy and all that gets in the way. And people, when they in the limelight, after they on a run, they on a successful run, they don't want to lose any type of, they don't want to like have no one gain on them. No, they don't want to lose their position. So they get real defensive. People get real defensive and they, that's why beefs happen. And they're like, you know what? No one can mess with me. No one can do this or, oh, they don't want to join me, then they feel some type of way and all these little emotions and people not thinking clear. And it's always scientifically proven that people make bad decisions. So a lot of times people are just making bad decisions. They're going out there and, they not using their head to think. They thinking with something else or they thinking with emotions or whatnot, right? And what you got to understand is that that's another problem too, is because they, you got to understand that, hey, as long as if you got food on the table, you got a roof over your head, all that, you should be happy. But beyond that, once you got things taken care of and bills are being paid and everything like that, you should try to, find more happiness or find more ways to be positive and enjoy and be happy about life instead of finding more negative things to complain about or finding more things to, get mad over or anything like that. And so that's just the way the world works. And so, it's either people understand it or they don't. It's nothing. It's either in you or it's not. And so there's no fixing that. You could try to learn from the lessons, but at the end of the day, if somebody's deep in that side, there's really no coming back unless it's catastrophic reconstruction of everything to bring them to the, to get everything to, okay, rehabilitate the whole person to basically change their whole ways and everything like that. And, there's been times where people do change and everything, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of, self discipline. And so a lot of people ain't disciplined. And that's why they let loose and let all these things happen and act the way they act, be reckless out in the streets, getting into trouble, let beefs carry on to where people end up, falling and things like that. And, mama's crying, all these different sort of things. And so that's what we're trying to prevent. We don't want none of that to happen, trying to get everybody on board to like get, doing everything to where you're going to take care of your fam and all that. And so that's what it's all about. And so you only got so much time. And so there's no reason to be beefing like how it was with the whole situation with Yo Gotti and the baby mama and young Dolph. And then that leading to a string of whole incidents that led up to the final moments. And then you even seen Black Youngster joined in and people start joining in because they looking up to Yo Gotti and whatnot. And they see, okay, if he's doing it, then it's acceptable. And so that's what they doing is that people is leading by, you got to lead by example. So if you leading in what the example you putting out there is to get into it with people, then the person that's coming up and, you trying to recruit, they going to think the same way as you and they're going to join in and unnecessarily get involved in something that they shouldn't have been in. And then it could be the other way around where it was somebody from that joined in and something happened to them or they people's all because they was just following what other people were doing that they were, influenced by. And basically they were like, motivated by. And when you get motivated by to do something, that's a whole nother thing that they could throw on you to further the RICO and further whole other situations that's going to bring as a unit collectively all these members down at the same time. And that's the Downfox, what happens with everything. And the truth of the matter is that that's really what happens out there. And, you got to realize that you don't want to be playing that game. You don't want to be involved in nothing like that. So, you know, you want to be, you know, obviously, you know, have your way of doing things and have fun out there. But keep in mind, you want to not be too involved with all the BS to where you end up jeopardizing opportunities that you have to being able to actually you know, like actually go out there and make some generational wealth. You know, you lose if you go in and get into it and you get locked up, you go and do something and something happens, or you too busy with beefing, you too busy doing street stuff, then you gonna let all this time pass by where you could have been investing, you could have been studying up on what to do to start a certain business, or to keep it, make it better, or grow or scale it up to millions and millions, you know, from where it is. But in the line, you know, in the midst of all the other stuff, people could get distracted. So it's like, you know, don't look up to all the people that's trying to distract you from all these other things. You guys, you know, keep focusing on the certain goals and progressing to get better every day. And so basically with all that, y'all got to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.